Kylie Jenner has said that she's never had plastic surgery, or specifically, she's talking about not having surgery on her face. And this came as a shock to a lot of people because, we have eyes. This is not the first time that Kylie Jenner has lied about her appearance, but I want to talk about what Kylie Jenner has had done, allegedly. Maybe why she's lied about it before, and even talk about childhood insecurities, which she brings up. And Kylie has actually spoken very beautifully about things that she had insecurities about, things on herself that she thought were ugly, that she now sees in her daughter as beautiful, which has helped her love herself. But on top of that, I want to talk about an alternate universe, a magical fairy tale land, where maybe Kylie isn't lying, and how she could be twisting her words to get around telling the truth. Let's start off with Kylie Jenner as we know her today. Obviously, she is a makeup mogul, a social media star. We don't actually know if she's a self-made billionaire or not, but that is for another time. Essentially, Kylie recently said this.
One of the biggest misconceptions about me is that I was like this insecure child and I got so much surgery to change my whole face, which is false. I've only gotten fillers.
Yeah, she has admitted to getting filler, but saying that she hasn't had other surgeries. Now, she was speaking about her face, but did she mean her face or her entire body? We're gonna get into da boobies and da butts, but I think that in this entire piece, Kylie is speaking about something very important. She's speaking about Photoshop and filter, and how social media has really changed and had a huge impact on her self-esteem as someone in the spotlight who has been negatively affected by comments and criticism. And as easy as it is to point fingers at celebrities or famous people or rich people and say, oh, they must have it so easy, there is a certain set of challenges that as humans, I think we all face. And the fact that someone's insecurities need to play out in front of millions of people may have impacts on mental health or self-esteem that you and I couldn't imagine. Now, that doesn't mean that it's okay to lie about things, but it's so interesting that Kylie in this piece is speaking with her sisters about how certain people are way over photoshopping and face tuning themselves when they are partially guilty for some of this. One of the biggest reasons that it's an issue for Kylie to have looked like this a year ago and then looked like this almost 3 years later is because this is not due to normal puberty. This is not what growing up looks like. And when you do grow up in front of so many people, literally the world, and that world is filled with impressionable people who are looking up to you, you do have, in a way, a duty to set a realistic expectation or a realistic standard, especially if you are someone who's in the public eye. Now, there's no harm in getting tweakments or plastic surgery, but lying about it to millions of people is an issue. And let's speak about lying, because this is not the first time that Kylie has lied about things. Do you guys remember the Kylie Jenner lip kit challenge? Yes, people would like suck on shot glasses to try to get these Kylie Jenner lips, because Kylie was saying that she was just overlining her lips with these amazing lip pencils and had never had fillers. Well, people busted their lips. They had to go to the ER and actually get surgery and get medical help. Kylie Jenner, after building her makeup brand, decided to finally come clean and say, yep, I've actually been getting fillers for quite a while, but like, it's no big deal. And it doesn't matter that I lied just to sell you products. That is a huge fucking issue. Now, if Kylie Jenner was willing to do that, to push products and talk about it in the past, what makes us think that she's not lying about having other things done to her face or her body today? Now, she did say that she's had filler, and she may have been speaking about her face, but I, as a professional in the aesthetic industry, and other doctors, dermatologists, and literally plastic surgeons also think that she has gone through quite a bit. We're gonna have to speak about how her eyebrows have just like lifted themselves up her face, how her cheekbones have become so much fuller, how her jaw has changed shape, not to mention that hourglass Kardashian figure, the boobs, the butt, the no hip dips, and all of the other things that seem to come with being a Kardashian. But before we do that, I think it's so important that we speak to what Kylie mentioned about her childhood. She was specifically talking about growing up with no insecurities.
We all have our little things, so it's normal to be insecure sometimes, but I always just remember being like the most confident kid in the room. I always loved myself. I still love myself.
Now, what's so interesting to me as I hear this is that it almost sounds like she's reminiscing on this time before she was insecure, and that she's almost blaming insecurities or social media for getting her to do certain procedures or certain things. At other times, she's literally said, I wish I didn't have so many things done.
I wish I'd never touched anything to begin with.
But she's speaking about how as a child, she was so confident, and like, why don't people believe that? Well, I think there's two very important things here. The first is that confidence and plastic surgery surgery treatments are not mutually exclusive. You can have both. It's okay to be confident and to want plastic surgery. It's okay to be charismatic and bold and to want treatments done. I think a lot of people associate getting plastic surgery or treatments with insecurities. And that's because for some people, they do go for that reason. But there are some people who don't go for insecurities. It's just they want to experiment with something. They want to change their look. They want to have a different form of control over their body or their beauty. And it's not coming from a place of insecurity. And I think that the way that Kylie speaks about this is maybe a little bit indicative as to what's happening in her own mind. And especially what she said about her ears and her daughter Stormy. It's really beautiful and poetic in a way to hear about the struggles that Kylie has faced both on and literally off the camera and how those may be playing out in her beauty routines.
You don't realize how you guys always talked about my ears.
I love it. But I talked about your ears because I love them.
But I didn't receive it like that. I received it as like everyone's making fun of my ears, calling me dopey. Everyone.
So we would call her like little dopies?
Oh, as like a little kid.
And I'm like, that me up.
Yeah, you never think about it.
I never thought about my ears. And then for like 5 years, I never wore an updo. And then I had Stormy and she has my ears. And it made me realize how much I love them. Because I'm like, wow, if I'm insecure about my ears and I like think my daughter's the most beautiful thing ever.
But before we look at Kylie's ears and the potential for ear pinning, let's actually talk about the things that many people, including doctors, derms, and plastic surgeons, suspect that Kylie has had done. And the first is obviously her lips, which she has admitted to. But again, if you've lied before, what makes us think you're not gonna lie again? Now, lip fillers are technically just a tweakment. They're technically not plastic surgery. And I, as well as many others, believe very, 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 very strongly, bigly, nearly almost certainly with 99.999.9% confidence that Kylie Jenner has had fillers in many other places as well. For example, if we look at Kylie when she was younger, she has a beautiful face. She has a beautiful figure too. This is her at literally 14, but you can see her lips aren't that large, and neither are her cheeks. Within a couple of years, we start to see these fillers get added on, which again is not a bad thing. And Kylie actually spoke about why she ended up doing this. Apparently she was kissing a guy who said she was a good kisser but had tiny lips. And because of that experience, she ended up getting lip filler. Now, first off, how dare we let a boy, a man, dictate our self-worth, our beauty? Like, sir, I am so sorry. It is unreal how like the simplest comments can just stick to us and send us in a different direction. I'm sure we all have one from a girl, from a guy, from a non-bi. Somebody has said something and it has stuck with us. How dare they say something to tear you down? You are a bad, you are sculpted to perfection. What people say are flaws are your features. Do I have something about this? How dare this little prick who's probably in like the 6th grade tell her she's a bad kisser and that she, for some reason, needs larger lips. Like, bro, maybe get a smaller mouth, okay? Okay. Anyways, apparently that was the thing that led her to get lip fillers. But over the years, we can see that those fillers aren't just isolated to the lips. It looks like they've gone to other places in the face, specifically the cheeks and the jaw. If you look at some of these before and after images, you can see how the jaw is much more chiseled and how the cheeks almost look lifted. Some people have speculated that she's actually had implants. I'm not a plastic surgeon, but you can usually kind of tell when someone has had implants, especially if they are on camera or if they are, you know, in film and media all the time, because you can almost see them moving or shifting. If they're done bad, now if they're done well, they could be hidden. But based on the way Kylie's face looks, it honestly just looks like she's had lots and lots of filler that has accumulated in the face over time. This gives her that more rounded look, and it does really accentuate these cheekbones here. Now, if you look at her from like 2014, even 15 compared to now, you can also see that her jawline is different. Some people have suspected that she's maybe had filler in the chin area or had some jaw shaving, which can create a different look. But there is the possibility that if you get Botox in certain muscles, specifically the muscles that are responsible for chewing, like a masseter muscle, that can actually change the shape of the jaw. And if you do opt to treating the area under the chin for fat, such as with liposuction or Kybella or even like cool therapies, there can be a reduction of fat or excess tissue here. And that can actually change the way the jaw looks as well. And while it is possible that she's had surgery or augmentation, this could be just tweakments like Botox or a different neuromodulator as well as filler. And And that could be one way she's getting around saying, I've never had plastic surgery on my face, because technically neither of those two things are. But that doesn't address how her eyebrows have moved up her face or her nose job. Now, some people have speculated that maybe she's gotten basically eyelid surgeries on the top or on the bottom, or an endoscopic brow lift where incisions are made kind of hidden in the hair and can actually lift the face. But when we actually look at a lot of the photos of Kylie now versus then, her makeup does look a bit different. And a lot of what we're seeing with the brows could also just be done with really good Botox. Again, Botox or Xeomin or Dysport or these neuromodulators, they basically temporarily paralyze muscles so that you cannot emote, you cannot move your face, and it helps to prevent wrinkles if done over time. But in part of relaxing those muscles, sometimes those muscles lift, and there are specifically frontalis muscles here in the forehead, or there is a glabellar complex that includes muscles like the corrugator supercilii, if you want the medical terms. Look at you, you skintellectual. When some of these certain muscles are injected, they can actually cause certain areas to lift, or even a brow to spock if done incorrectly. Basically, like, looks like a Nike swoosh upside down, like an exaggerated Nike swoosh, like Cruella de Vil on your face. But it could be very, 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 very well hidden plastic surgery or invasive treatments, or this could just be a neuromodulator and some really expertly placed filler. Now, that does not explain the nose. We gotta talk about this. Again, going through puberty does not cause your nose to change shape. If we look at Kylie's nose over the years, it is so obvious how it has transformed. It looks like it started off kind of being pushed in a little bit by the bridge especially, and there are ways to use makeup and contour to have a different look to the nose, but no amount of makeup and contour is going to cause this bridge of the nose to literally be pushed in and the tip of the nose to be pushed up. No amount of makeup or contour is going to change a nostril shape. And if we look at photos and images of Kylie then versus now, we can see some dramatic changes in the nose, from areas being more bulbous to being less bulbous, from the entire shape changing. And a lot of experts, especially plastic surgeons like Dr. Yoon here on YouTube, have literally speculated that she's had not just one, but potentially multiple nose jobs. How can you not say that that is plastic surgery? There is something called a liquid rhinoplasty, or like a liquid nose job, which is when filler is injected into the nose, but that would be adding volume, and it usually spreads over time. And even when injecting filler into the nose, you cannot change the shape of the nostril or the rotation of the tip of the nose. I'm not saying that it absolutely happened, but I'm saying with 99.99999999999% confidence, it really just looks like it did. And especially when we look at Kylie then versus now, this is not what normal puberty does, which is why it's so important for us as viewers, and especially for young impressionable women who are looking up to people like Kylie, to know what we can actually expect of our bodies. And here's the thing, this is an AI generation basically showing what Kylie's face is today versus what it would have looked like if she didn't have any work, fillers, or tweakments done. It's pretty crazy. And this doesn't even get into the body, the boob jobs, the BBLs, the potential liposuction. Kylie has obviously had work done. Again, with 99.99999% confidence, please don't sue me for saying things. I mean, we have eyeballs, okay? And especially when we look at Kylie's body when she was younger, she was built a little bit more athletically. And when we look at her now, she really does resemble her sisters like Kim and Khloe, and what's the other one? Kim and Khloe and Kourtney. Now, here's what's interesting is a little concept called genetics, right? Usually children look like their parents, right? The parents produce offspring that looks like them. Kim, Khloe, and Kourtney have a different father/mother than Kylie and Kendall. They all share the same mother, Kris Jenner, but when we look at Kris, who has been open about getting surgery and treatments, her body does not necessarily look like Kim's, or like Khloe's, or like Kourtney's. Now, Kendall and Kylie grew up with a father named Bruce, who is now Caitlyn. And Caitlyn at the time was actually an Olympic athlete and had a very athletic build. Now, look at the athletic build. Look at Kendall Jenner today. Kendall still has an athletic build that really resembles her mother, who used to be her father, right? And if you look at Kylie, Kylie's body looks way more like the other sisters who have had lots of work done than it does her sister or her former father, who's now her mother, Caitlyn. And it's crazy to think that this body with a full-on nice set of chesticles and a round derriere that is not anatomically possible, and a waist that is this tiny, it's crazy to think that this is trying to be played off as natural. Now, there are certain things, certain changes, puberty and other things that the body goes through, but it's quite obvious that this is a boob job. Again, it's quite obvious that this is a BBL. Certain doctors and plastic surgeons have speculated she's had multiple BBLs. Why lie about this? Again, the way she speaks about plastic surgery or about fillers and treatments, it almost sounds like she feels that they are mutually exclusive to confidence. Like if you are confident, then you can't be going out seeking these things, which totally isn't true. You could be the most confident person and say, I want to do something different with my body, or I want to express it in a different way. And I just wish that Kylie would be open about this, because she posts a ton of photos that literally show off her body, her face, her skin. It's part of what she sells us, her makeup online, right? But she doesn't disclose the things that she's actually had done. And why? Is it insecurity? Is it money because people will stop buying things, realizing that they can't look like her by using her products? Maybe. Is it pressure from the companies that are selling their shows, or her sisters and her family? The truth is that we don't know, and if she doesn't speak about it, that just leaves us to guess and wonder. When just being open about that could really go a long way in not only Kylie embracing and accepting her beauty and the fact that it can change and evolve, but helping so many other young, impressionable people learn to love and embrace themselves too. Now, if you want to look at someone's body and see if they've had work done, this isn't foolproof. The human anatomy is the human anatomy, right? Belly buttons are usually not perfectly circular. Most people have a hip dip. Literally, the hips go in on the inside. There's like, some people call them muffin tops. It goes in and then you have a rear. If that's completely rounded out, for some people it may be, but for most people that's a BBL. If the belly button is completely circular, especially if you can see a little scar in there, that is probably surgery that literally slims the stomach. Now, do I think that Kylie's like had ribs removed? That is not my area of expertise. I don't know. I know that some people have removed their ribs in pursuit of a smaller waistline. Her waistline is definitely smaller. What she used to look like with a gorgeous athletic build that resembled her sister and her father at the time does not look like her body today. But even outside of all of this, we do have to talk about how she's learning to embrace her beauty and literally potential ear pinning. You see, Kylie has been open about being insecure about her ears. I guess her family used to tease her for them, and her family said that it was kind of like a cute, fun thing, but she took it really personally, and she never wore her hair in an updo. She just always wore it down, covering her ears, because she was so insecure about them. I don't know for sure, but it is possible that Kylie got her ears pinned. I cannot tell for sure, and because she has so many photos for literally years at a time where her hair is down, it's really hard to see those changes. Some people's ears, you know, can change with puberty and with growth of like the entire skull, but usually not dramatically, right? Either way, Kylie has noted that when she now looks at her daughter Stormy has her ears. And Kylie looks at her daughter and says, "These are so beautiful. These are so gorgeous. I love these on you." And that helped her learn to love them on herself. And isn't that so amazing? And I almost wish that Kylie was able to have that moment earlier, or have that moment in other ways too, because she is beautiful just as she is, both today and back when she looked like this, and if she were to continue looking like this. I love that she's able to see and embrace that and almost learn that through her daughter. Although I wish that she could have that happiness and that confidence at all times, regardless of the procedures that she does or doesn't get. Even Kylie's teeth, I think his name is Dr. Sands, but almost all the Kardashians have had their teeth done, literal veneers. And her smile is gorgeous. Her lip filler is gorgeous. I'm glad that she's spoken about how she feels about some of these things and maybe wishing that she didn't have certain ones. But I am not glad that it sounds like she is blatantly lying to us. Again, she's lied before. That doesn't mean that she will lie again. But the way she speaks about these things, the way she almost has this like an undertone of resentment or judgment for social media, I can only imagine the pressure that she and her sisters have been under, and maybe what decisions that led her to do or pursue. And I think it also opens this conversations about celebrities having insecurities as well, and deserving a safe place to work through those and to literally come to terms with insecurities or learn to love them instead of be criticized or chastised for them. And I think that's even why like videos like this can come off harsh or come off in the wrong way, right? The intention is never to blame Kylie or anyone else for procedures or choices, but it's to share the truth, to break down the lies, and to set realistic expectations of what plastic surgery versus puberty can actually do to our bodies, or set realistic expectations about what skincare can actually do for our skin, or what amount of money it actually takes to look a certain way, and how you can take care of yourself without overspending if you so choose to. And I think it is so hard because there is nuance in everything. And Kylie deserves to love herself, to come to terms with insecurity insecurities, to work through them and to feel beautiful in her body. But the sad reality is that when posting online, especially with the following and with the job that she has, there are going to be people that are absolutely disgusting and downright terrible about those things. And if she doesn't have a safe place to work through those, that can be really damaging. Now, that doesn't mean that she needs to go off and get treatments. It's a choice, not an obligation, right? She might want to get treatments just to express herself or try something new, the way some people do. But if you are lying to us, telling us that this is just puberty or this is just growing up, that sets a false expectation to so many other impressionable people. And it continues to perpetuate the exact insecurities and the exact issues that Kylie may be facing herself. And that's why it needs to stop. My camera battery died after I said stop, so I guess that's a good time to say, here's another video that you might be able to learn from. Subscribe if you want more content like this, and remember never to compare your reflection to somebody else's retouch. Love you guys. Bye.